from a service offering, that's what we do, and it's very similar to what Triad did. Very similar to what Triad did. So I think it becomes more the business model and the economy. Triad was on a path to grow, to do that kind of thing where you double in size every 3 years. And when you're on a path to do that, you make investments to grow. And generally you go in debt to grow. And so then when all of a sudden, you know, the wool kind of gets pulled, the rug gets, sorry. I should try not to use those expressions because I never do them right. When the rug gets pulled out from under you, you know, you're on one plan and all of a sudden the scenario changes. It's tough to change course. So they were on a path to grow. We'd ramped up. We'd made investments. And Triad had gotten as big as 80 people. And if it's meaningful to you, Triad was about $11 million in revenue, if that gives you, if you have any perspective for what that means. So 80 people, we had 4 offices in 4 cities and 80 people. And we went through about 3 years of cutting, laying off people until we were down to about 20 people, which is about the same size when I joined the firm. So I was there about 10 years, and so in 10 years we went from 16 to 80 and back to 16, which is a little gut-wrenching because it was a wonderful company and a wonderful culture. So it was, you make the best decisions always that you can. But I think it was as much the debt and a little bit when you grow, we grew and we opened 4 offices, so we had physical offices. And what does that mean? Overhead. Yeah, thank you very much from a business.
Did you own them? Did Triad own them?
No, we leased them, but you know what the problem is, right? What happens when you lease?
You tied to a contract.
Yeah, you have a contract, right? Just like when you have an apartment contract. Yep, and then you can't get out of them, or you have to pay money to get out of them, or those kind of things. So I think that was part of the problem. So when we started out, we started as a fresh, yes sir?
To what extent is the impetus for growth the idea of trying to make more money?
Greed,
in other words.
Well, that's certainly one way to look at it. We actually talked about it at Triad when we were growing, and we have a staff now of 10 of us, me and 9 other people, and we talk about growth. And we talk about, number one, do we want to grow at all? And if we want to grow, how much do we want to grow? And how fast do we want to grow? So, you can let that just kind of happen to you, just like you do with your career. I see lots of people that kind of just let their career happen to them, and they wait till they stumble upon something or somebody calls them and plucks them or tags them. And I see other people that are a lot more thoughtful and proactive about it. So what are other reasons why you might want to grow besides greed?
To reach a larger market?
To reach a different market, right? There are some, as a 10-person company, there are some firms that might look at us and say, oh, you're too small. You're too small. We can't work with somebody that's too small. On the flip side, we have other clients that are quite happy to work with a small firm because they know they'll be a big fish to us and they'll get a lot of our attention. So you can look at it both ways. So right, to reach different, to get a foot in the hole, hold at a different kind of size company. What else?
Kind of protect yourself and you don't have cash flow going.
So maybe a little more fortitude. We're a little bigger, we're a little stronger. You're less likely to get blown over in the earthquake. What else might you grow?
You can add capabilities.
Yes, you can add more. You could maybe have a whole different division with a whole different part of the company. One of the things Triad tried to do, and partly which wasn't that successful, is they tried to have split training and performance consulting, and it gets tricky. It gets tricky. You have 2 hiring models and 2 compensation models and 2 sets of salespeople and 2 sets of business processes. So it gets a little tricky if you understand that. Why else do you want to grow? I got one key thing I'm thinking of.
Service more clients.
So you can service more. Yep. If you grow, you can do more. You don't have to maybe turn people down. If you have so much work coming in the door, wow, that sounds great. After going through the recession, that sounds terrific. As you grow, you create more opportunities for your staff, right? because you have more people that can take on more leadership responsibilities. They can, as they grow, they can manage people. As they grow, they can manage bigger projects. They can start to manage whole accounts. They can manage a whole department. So you create more opportunities for people to grow and move up and do different things. So that can be the reason also. And it's interesting. To me, it's fascinating to think about growth. But when I think about growth, for me, growth is about growing steadily and profitably. So I think it's kind of the same thing with a career, right? You don't want to kind of grow too fast, too quick, and get in over your head. So it's more, and I don't want to grow chaotically. I don't have any desire to just grow, out of control, and the staff feels like they're out of control all the time, because eventually the clients are going to feel a little bit like that too. So we have 10 of us on staff. What we talk about as a differentiator, which kind of ties into why we were able to make a go of it. We look at what differentiates us. Number one is our focus on performance, because there's an awful lot of companies that do what we do, that all they talk about is training, like the training is the end game. And is training the end game? What do we really care about? Right, that the performance gets better and that we improve the business results. So that's one differentiator. And the other one is what seems to me is a really simple one, but apparently it's really hard, is the responsiveness. We get feedback over and over that we're so responsive. You returned our call. You did what you said you were going to do. You let us know that you weren't going to get it back to us today, but you were going to get back to us tomorrow. Does that seem hard? Do you do that in your daily interactions with class? Okay, well, if you don't get an email response from Dr. Malat, we'll understand why. But what do you do if you get an email and you don't really have time right now to respond thoughtfully to it? What do you do?
Tell the people you'll respond soon.
Absolutely, Hannah. Yeah, you respond and say, I'm sorry, I'm really busy right now, and I'll respond in 3 days, right? That took you 20 seconds. Are you ever too busy to do that 20-second task? Anyways, so we have people that will call us on a sales call, trying to call us about new work. And they'll say, wow, we called this other vendor and we didn't hear back from them for 2 weeks. Now, does that make any sense? So anyways, for us, we don't think that's hard, but we're very responsive. We get back with people, we do what we say we're going to do, what we promise. So I think that's one of the things that differentiates us. We are a woman business enterprise, so that means we're certified as a women business. So to me, it's not generally something I like to call out, but there are companies that's important to them. There are RFPs where we'll get where they want us. They want to know if we have that certification, and they want us to show that certification. And my understanding is that it helps us because they have the need to have those kind of numbers and quotas and things like that.
What are the criteria for that certification?
The criteria is that you're female.
You don't qualify,
So hold on. Actually, I just got recertified, and they came to the office. They did a site visit. So when I first got certified 3 years ago, they did a site visit. And so I don't know why. I guess every 3 years now they do a site visit. And so right as I was leaving the door, I was telling my husband they were coming for a visit, and he said kind of the same thing, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to test for? But so, what the main criteria is, they really want to see that a female really runs the business.
So it's the CEO.
Yes.
Not every single person in the company.
No. You have to have
your husband building desks didn't disqualify you.
Right. They want to know that you have 51% ownership and that you really run the company.
Okay.
So when they came for the site visit, what they really wanted the kind of questions they asked me and the things as we toured around the space, what they really wanted to understand is if I really ran the company and I really understood what was happening at the company. So anyways, we have that certification and believe it's helpful sometimes to us. And we've won some very nice awards. We just found out we're winning an ISPI award at the conference this April for a human performance solution that we did for Amway right here in your backyard.